I guess it just kind of all goes back to like early civilization, you know, like when we got forced and put onto those reservations. Like, it doesn't get like looked down upon, it just gets brushed over. Like, well, you guys should be lucky you have all that land, you guys are your own system, your own governing system. But when really I don't think we would really want it that way, you know. Living like, you know, like a Native American living in two worlds. Yeah, like having to act this way, you know, when you're away from the res or when you're away from, you know, Native American culture. You know, you kind of feel like you're obligated to act a certain way. And then, you know, and then it's like, you know, with going back home, just being in a different world of, you know, the way things are.
I know reservations were meant to pretty much give power back to natives, like empowerment wise, they can govern themselves, but it feels like they were mostly set up for poverty and more oppression, I think, because I don't know, the reservations, it's home, but it can be depressing most of the time because there's not many opportunities there, and it feels like it's just set up that way. I never thought of it as bad until I grew up. I always thought of it as like home, where everybody is used to seeing other natives, but then once you get off the reservation, you realize, you know, that not every place is like home. You know, home is this little piece of area that they call the reservation, and then they call it, everyone that lives on the reservation refers to everything off the reservation as real life. Yeah, I've met one girl who went to college here. She's new from out of state, never met a Native American before, and she asked, as soon as she read my name on the door, she knew I was Native. And she said from her experience, her mother told her that natives were just a bunch of drunks and bums. So she didn't know what to expect when she met me. And I sat down with her and I answered all the questions she had, and it seemed like we weren't so different at all.
Actually, I feel like I'm gonna always keep this one in mind because it's gonna always intrigue me, and I'm always gonna want to know more about it. I never thought about it under this light, the way they have it put here, because number two, you know, the Indian tribes had some form of transferable title to the land, you know, so not only are we saying that it wasn't even ours to begin with, because I honestly believe we've never viewed it like that. We knew that it was Mother Earth and that's who she was. It was never ours. It was never ours for the taking or ours for damaging or anything. That's why I think we always gave back. You know, we always replaced it, or we always used it to the fullest.
Because I grew up, you know, on the res, and it's like leaving a different country almost because of the laws and the way that you get looked at, I guess, when you're out in the how do you say it, the Western world, I guess, Western society. There's a basic understanding of what it's like to grow up on a res. Like, you could hear people joking around from one res and it sounds, you know, really similar to your reservation, so it's like, it's I don't know, I like it, my res, I don't know.
A reservation is really just a small town, it's just a reservation, I guess. Growing up on a reservation, you're like around a lot of people that are the same color and the same like background as you, especially going to a reservation school your whole life. And it was like a culture shock when I got here. It's like here, like Havre, Montana, 25 miles from where I live, and I'm the darkest person in this room. Like, I was like, well, this is different.
It's home to me. I was, born in Browning, Montana. I lived on a reservation all my life. Of course, it's just like any town, I imagine, if they were. What I think is that, okay, there's a lot of stereotypes, and which probably a lot of it are true. There's drugs, there's alcohol, there's all of that there. But in every little city, that's the same thing. But the only thing is that it's a smaller environment, a smaller community, so then it's going to, look worse.
It was very family oriented. So we'd go to my grandma's house every Sunday for Sunday dinner, family dinner, and I grew up with my family. I had a very sheltered life. Oh, they're like, oh, you seem really nice. Where are you from? And I say, oh, I'm from Browning on the Blackfeet Reservation. And go, oh, you're from Browning? Oh, well, I can't be friends with you because I heard you're gonna beat me up. People who are from Browning, they just get in fights. I'm like, seriously? Have you seen me? Do I look like I could beat you up? No. That's not the kind of person I am. But thank you for stereotyping me.
They think we're all basically fenced in and we can't leave the reservation, that we have to sign out to leave.
I think it was difficult. That's all I knew. We just lived on the res. I moved to Havre 3 years ago, and besides boarding school for a year, this is where, that's home. It's home. It'll always be home.